Yo, what's up, everybody, man? Y'all know what this is. This is the live fade hour. Once again, we coming to y'all live and direct. I'm the host as usual, the golden voice, Maul. And I'm always going to tell y'all to go ahead, put down your tablets, pick up your drinks, pick up your smoke. Go ahead and hit the like and subscribe as well. And we're going to get to it, man. Y'all know I got my stout on hand, man. My Lagunitas, my 13%. I'm going to try to get through that. But let me go ahead and go around the room and let the fellas introduce themselves. I got my usual cast of bandits, so let me go ahead and let them introduce themselves.
What up, world? It's your boy News, representing Ringside Rave all day. You already know what it is with me, man. Got the sour diesel on me, so I'm feeling real. I don't even know what to say. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I'm in the middle of the map. I'm always shouting out gelato. I'm always shouting out wedding cake, sour diesel. You know what I'm saying? OG. You know what I'm saying? Hey, I ain't got nothing to say, man. It's just top shelf over here. Top shelf news from now on, man.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke from at Free Smoke Boxing. Still on a smoke break, but the holiday for my people, 420, is coming up this weekend, so we might end that. So I ain't talked about boxing in a minute, so let's get to it.
Yeah. What's good, Joe? It's Pat Scorpion, New England representative. And I'm chilling here right now, next to my plate of red beans and rice and chicken, this glass of Merlot. So let's get to this.
Yeah, definitely. Let's get to this, man. We done had an exciting turn of events this week, man. We thought we just only going to be preparing to talk about the aftermath of Shields and Hammer and Granados and Khan. But then Big Baby said, hold my damn beer. And if you don't know by now, Big Baby got busted. Got
What did you
fucking
get busted
busted.
for?
Yeah, GWS3X1234 apostrophe quotation mark.
It sounds like something in the X-Men comics, though. But I know what it is, though. But
Right. Yeah, Pat. We not. Have you heard about this? Or what he was taking and why and what it actually does? I've heard about it, but I know you can probably go more. I know one of y'all can go more in depth of it. And also after that, just give us your thoughts about this whole bullshit, man.
Basically, what it does is because there's like different variations of it. Like Lucien Brute got hit, by taking another variation. It basically increases. I mean, if you're a lifter, you're a runner, or whatever like that, it will increase your endurance and as well as burn fat. And I'm guessing, it can also be used in part of a cycle. And I'm guessing Big Baby was, because like I said, in the beginning he was accusing Femi of using all these, PEDs and whatever.
With his own history.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then he got nervous because he was like, "Damn, this nigga might wash me." So he decided to get on some shit. And that's what he tried to do because I figured he was probably trying to stand up to Femi's like onslaught, and then maybe he can wear him out. But that's what it does. But the reason why it was really, it's good against like this, but the reason why it was like discontinued was because of it caused cancer, aggressive cancer in organs. So,
yo, if you go in Wikipedia that shit, which is called GW like 1516, which sounds like a robot, not a drug,
R2D2.
You will see that it causes cancer like 3 weeks after taking it. And my whole thing that came away from that was I was like, damn, like Big Baby weighs in at fights at like what, 315 to 330 or something like that.
Right.
Like, what is he going into camp at?
Exactly. It's like, and you get to look like, what's he doing? What's his eating? I mean, he's like literally eating. Like, I don't think he's even training hard. Like, and that's the stuff that actually just pisses me off. I hate fighters like that. But
you mad that he can train and eat cake at the same time?
You've been real quiet though. I think you got something on your mind about this shit, man.
Nah, man. I just can't believe. Hold on. I'm way too far from my mic. Hold on, man. I had to get real close so the people can hear me on my Stephen A. Smith.
Stay off the GW 1516.
Man, I don't know about all that R2D2 stuff, whatever. Stacker 2, whatever. He needed pure H2O is what he needed. I don't understand how he called out Anthony Joshua and brought up the PEDs only to get busted again, I believe.
Mhm.
Not the
Yeah,
first time.
when he was
Maybe
a
the first time in
kickboxer.
boxing.
Mhm.
But I've heard that there's been situations in his prior career. So at the end of the day, there's no way you could run your mouth like this. First of all, you already got disrespected by Anthony Joshua in your own city. Like Anthony Joshua was talking about your mother, everything, talking
Paying.
crazy, disrespectful to you. And
Mhm.
your way to fight back at this because you couldn't fight back with words is to use PEDs to try to fight him. After saying he was the one that was on the PEDs, come on, man. And don't tell me like I shouldn't believe it because at the end of the day, one thing has always held true. Vada or nada.
Mhm.
Period blank. It is what it is. Vada catches everybody, man. Vada catches
And
everybody.
now, with this being said, how the hell can the Zone and Joshua and all them and Eddie Hearn salvage this situation?
I mean, right now,
Who's on that?
they're going to open up the B sample, and depending on when that B sample was taken, I mean, if it was obviously it was close to the first sample. I mean, it's gonna show up there too, and this motherfucker is like done. Now, if there's a slight chance that it doesn't show up, then he could probably reapply for the application. It's a slight chance, but if not,
Slim.
then we're gonna have to try to do process of elimination of the available heavyweight contenders that can actually do it without any political like issue.
So that list, is it like what? Like Michael Hunter, Char?
Right. Trevor Bryan, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna start just putting two random names together, like two random first names. That'll be the dude Anthony Joshua is gonna fight next.
Right.
It's a fucked up situation, man. Because at least, I mean, with Miller, obviously, I mean, he would have been like a good fall considering it's New York City and everything like that. I mean, and plus, he still has a zero for some odd reason. So that would have at least, and that would have been a good process of elimination. But now you got to go see who's real, like Kanaki, who rejected the fight because he says he won't have enough time. Ortiz is a little different.
Ortiz is who it should be. I mean, let's be real.
But
That's really.
but in that case,
Go ahead.
that's where the political stuff comes in because it's rumored now that Al Heyman will not let him take that fight. It's
How is he not going to let him take the fight?
because Deontay Wilder is also a heavyweight champion. If Ortiz should knock out Joshua, it'll probably create some sort of screw up some plan over there. That's what I'm guessing.
Right. I get it. I mean, it's just a hypothetical because I'm like, Ortiz, you 40, and who the hell are you to be
Allegedly.
like, no, I'm away. Yeah, exactly. That we're told he's 40, and who the hell are you to be like, nah, I'm away. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's the issue that we always talk about in boxing.
News, you go first.
No, I was gonna say when you got Vada problems, you're not too eager to jump into the ring without having a good 12, 16, a good notice that you're gonna fight up's coming soon. That's all I'll say about it.
Yeah, you know what? You make sense. You make sense. Not enough time to cycle. Well, I'm not gonna go there, but I know.
I mean, and I said this earlier. I mean, unless you're fighting on average 3 or more fights in a calendar year, to say that you're not ready for a heavyweight title shot, much as a heavyweight title shot, is kind of. I mean, it doesn't. I'm not feeling that.
The optics don't.
You're not feeling that because you're a Joshua fan, bro. Like, as much as I point out Anthony Joshua's flaws, he's definitely the second. He's 1C or 1B or whatever of the heavyweights. So to go to Kanaki, for example, and say, hey, it's 4:15. Do you want to fight the first, second, or third best heavyweight, however you rank Anthony Joshua, in 6 weeks. And it's like, come on, man.
For the money he gonna make and the opportunity of a damn lifetime.
Wait, you think he's gonna get the same replacement money?
But do you think he gonna get the same amount of money in his next fight that he would against AJ?
No, it's a heavyweight title shot.
Right.
Of course not.
Man, all
Right.
these dudes that can't beat Anthony Joshua should be jumping at the fight for real.
Exactly. Kalnaki, you went life and death with goddamn Charles Martin, and
who is Kalnaki to be talking about?
Right.
I ain't got enough time to fight Anthony Joshua. Like there's enough time for you to beat Anthony Joshua, dude. Get out of here.
Like the only person who has a legit excuse is Pulev because he still has that court case pending, and he can't be doing a lot of things right now.
Well,
That's killing me, man.
I mean, look at Klitschko pulled up on Lennox. What didn't Klitschko pull up on Lennox Lewis about a week or 12 days before the fight? Wasn't he a real late replacement?
Yeah.
They
jump at the opportunity.
Exactly, and it propelled him into a damn star.
To be fair, it's a little different because Klitschko was already scheduled to fight on the undercard of the Lennox Lewis fight, and they just switched him instead because that was supposed to be his fight on the undercard, and then they would fight afterwards. But when Lennox when Lennox opponent pulled out, then they just put him in, and it just made sense because he was on the undercard. It's a little different because you got to find dudes that were basically probably on the couch masturbating prior. So,
man, they got 7 weeks, man.
I mean,
7 weeks.
7 weeks.
There's plenty of examples of fighters that have jumped out. I mean, Manny Pacquiao, won the 130 title on 4 or 5 weeks notice. Jumping in. I mean, it happens. Like people do that. I mean, but if you're active, you're in shape. Sometimes you gotta shoot your shot because you never know when the next one's gonna come.
And these dudes killing me, talking about they ain't got no time.
Right. We all agree that we would like it to be Ortiz, but I just don't know who would be a viable replacement outside of Ortiz that we would care for.
I mean, it's a crapshoot right now. I mean, it's either Eddie's going to look internal, as in matchroom heavyweights, or anyone who's not politically bound. I mean, unless Ortiz is like, Al, Mr. Heyman, I thank you for the opportunity, but I will fight for this heavyweight title.
Right.
Unless he does something like that, I just don't see Ortiz
doing it being an option. Right.
Damn. It ain't nobody from the fight, really.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, it ain't nobody from the fight. At least not anybody that we feel it's worthy of seeing. Yeah, face off against the heavyweight champion. I mean, he's already willingly fought the likes of Carlos Takem. Damn, how much do I have to be? How much do we have to suffer?
Yo, they should actually. That's a good point. They should call up Yusuf and throw a gigantic bag at him to get him.
They ain't gonna do that.
Yeah, no, because they're too worried about him beating AJ. But
right.
No, cruiserweight, he needs to actually not jumped in like that first.
I don't know, man. I just don't want to see that.
Well, to
they
transition,
should really just cancel that shit.
Well, y'all two just transition to the next topic of fights that people heard and wish it could get canceled. Sorry, Pat, but what fight was announced recently with Triple G, and Smoke was on go when that was named. For those who may not have heard, Golovkin is scheduled to return June 8th. Yeah, against Steve Rolls. His first of 6 fights on his own. Steve Rolls. Right. Yeah, right. That's his and ironically, this is supposed to be at the super middleweight weight limit. Well, not limit, but in the super middleweight 164, 165. Well, rumored to be around that, but just want to spend a few minutes on that before we go ahead into the next topic and what the fuck.
Or we could just skip it all together because it's of no significance.
Right.
I mean, everyone knows, like I said, Triple G is one of the draws in boxing. It's a big drama show. It's at Madison Square Garden, not no damn Atlantic City. And we're all gonna tune in. We're gonna watch him catch a serious fade, and he's gonna give one of those broken English swag interviews, and it'll be big drama show. And then we'll all go home nice and happy. That's what. Well, actually, and hopefully, if I'm actually there live, I will go home nice and happy.
That's good to hear. And I appreciate that. And I hear reality and Smoke have an opposite opinion of how that's going to feel.
Brief about this. Steve Rolls, and no disrespect to Steve Rolls, I'm sure you're a good dude. When they announced the fight, not like DAZN and Triple G and all that, but just like the people who announced it on Twitter, they said Steve Rolls, who has fought on Showtime Boxing. So that was like his the feature thing about him, that one time he fought on Showbox. And it's just kind of sad because Triple G started his career off beating dudes that are better than this, which is weird to say. And
actually, no, he
didn't. After going through, fighting Danny Jacobs and Canelo twice in like 2.5 years, you would think that being signed to DAZN, getting paid $15 million a fight, he would look for an actual challenge. But it turns out that he's going to fight Drake's bodyguard, because Steve Rolls is from Toronto and he's not a full-time boxer.
Keep in mind, Smoke actually supported Rocky Fielding and thought Rocky Fielding was a challenge, people.
So anyway, as I was saying, Rocky Fielding is kind of like a comparable opponent to Steve Rolls. And the thing
you supported Rocky Fielding, though, because you didn't know anything about him, though. So that's the thing. But you supported it because you thought, because he held a regular title, that he was somebody.
So the thing that sucks about it is that I was looking forward to Triple G being on DAZN, because they have all these 160-pounders. Like you have Andrade, you have Canelo, and you have other 160-pounders, which I'm sure of.
And they're all at fight side. Andre has Sulecki. Canelo is about to lose his belt to Jacobs. Jacobs is about to take Canelo's belt. Triple G is about to look good because Jacobs took Canelo's belt. That's what's going to happen.
It's just really sad to see that, like, Canelo's fighting Danny Jacobs, and like they're trying to get it mixed in. And it just seems like, from the outside looking in, that Triple G is just kind of waiting for Canelo to finish.
Now, what 160 middleweight at this zone should they be fighting that's available? I know who's available.
You know what?
News, you can answer that question?
It doesn't have to be Steve Rolade.
You don't know who's available, so how do you know who should be fighting?
Oh, man,
I want to get News' opinion on this, and and Pete's opinion on this.
I don't even think there's an opinion to give. It's just a fact. This is a trash opponent.
I think it's actually his worst opponent so far.
I don't even know. I just know that the fact that he was on this all about all the belts, swag, he was going to do this, that, and the third. Ever since he ain't fought Canelo over these last couple of years, he's fought nobody. Nobody that he should be fighting. Who's he fought? Steve Rose, Vons Montes-Rosian, and Kell Brook. That's who he fights in between Canelo. Like, I'm not feeling that.
Or Canelo.
News, is that a rumor, or are you spitting facts?
I mean, it's facts. I mean, hey, FAX, FACTS. You know what it is, man.
Facts only?
Who is he fighting? He's not fighting anybody. He's just biding his time, circling around the Canelo money boat like a shark in the water, ready to get another Canelo stimulus package thrown his way.
And it's crazy because he kind of really don't need it at this point with the bag he just got. It's like, it's unfortunate. And from the outside looking in,
Canelo is the lineal middleweight champion. He has 2 of the belts. I mean,
true, but His career is gonna be tied to just Canelo. Like his,
because Canelo is the lineal middleweight champion.
But so that don't mean you can only fight Canelo or no one else.
right, his career gonna be tied to
Why would he
Canelo. That's what I'm saying.
after the top fighter at middleweight?
Because the top.
It's not about going just strictly after the top fighter or middleweight. That's like saying everybody should just fought Floyd or nobody.
Look at this.
You weren't for that.
If Canelo loses to Jacobs, he has a rematch clause saying that Jacobs has to fight him again, and most likely Oscar will probably do another one, a third fight. He beats him again. So it's not like, it's like you got to go where the belts are. I mean, what do you want him to do?
I get it. I'm just saying, like,
after the top dog. It's not if Canelo didn't have his belts, or he's not the man of the division, and he wanted Canelo again, then that would be questionable because go after the fucking belt, whatever. But he's going after the top dog at middleweight, who everyone else is trying to go at it. So I don't understand why that's looked at as a
because you're trying to move the tree branch. Trying to move the tree branch so we can't grab onto it, Pat.
Everyone wants
no. There is no excuse.
What if
Canelo? That doesn't make sense. That's like me saying because Deontay Wilder wants to fight Anthony Joshua, he's allowed to fight whoever.
What if Canelo chooses not to fight him again? Then what are you going to do next? That's what I'm saying. I think that's what we all.
He's not fighting anybody in between Canelo. He's taking soft touches.
Right. So
that's what we're upset about.
Right.
It's Canelo or bust.
Right. If Canelo,
or if Jacobs or bust. If Jacobs beats Canelo, then he goes after Jacobs. That's pretty much.
I mean, that's his best bet because we've already seen that he can't beat Canelo.
So why can't he go after Andre?
He don't want that.
They don't want that.
Andre has a fight schedule.
He don't want to fight Jamal Charlo for the mandatory for Canelo either.
Well, Jamal Charlo doesn't even want to leave PBC. He has car buff problems. What is he talking about right now?
He don't have any problems. He didn't take an L. Right
now.
He's undefeated.
My bad. My bad. I'm being rude. P, you hear us? We want to. What's up, P?
I don't have nothing to say. In the words of the great Conor McGregor, who the fuck is that guy? Like, nobody, like, that's all I can say about Steve Rolls. Who the fuck is that guy? Like, you could have gotten anybody, like, at least gets, like, I mean, at least, with the other guys, like when we rolled our eyes at fucking Dominic Wade and the Willie Monroes, at least we knew who those guys were. I don't think before this fight was announced, any of us knew who the fuck Steve Rolls were.
Not on a series. Nope. I did.
Like, that sounds like a fucking hamburger bun. Like, what the fuck?
Who he is.
No one answered the question like, who should Triple J, who's an available to zone middleweight, who should he be facing?
Man, that's up for his team to do. That's for his team to do. Because when we say who he should fight, he don't fight who we want him to fight anyway.
I mean, that was an option too, and you guys in the Dom, everyone has seen fight. Huh?
Who's his option?
And Dom, yes, Hassan and Dom. Everyone is
lost in the.
I mean, because we seen him lose to an amateur. We don't want to see the great legendary GGG fighting bums. That's all we get to see. When do we get to see him win a fight against an elite fighter, Pat?
I'd rather him fight Jeff Horn.
Shit. Might as well find Laura and fight Laura.
In Kazakhstan. Which you can't do that. Which you can't actually do anyways.
You know what I mean?
Murata,
Laura said he'd move up. But anyway, I'm just saying, it's not up to us to pick his fights because when we want to pick his fights, we get excuses why we can't see what we want to see from him. We want to see him fight Jamal Charlo. We want to see him versus Demetrius Andrade.
I mean, and
we want to see those.
Andrade is the fight that I actually would really like to see.
Of course, I do.
Well, we'll see him fight Selecki, who's actually his mandatory. So that's what's going to happen.
But GGG could have been his voluntary.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if Canelo fights Andre next in September, if he wins, then what Triple G gonna do?
Fight Jacobs? Oh wait, no, he won't.
I don't think Canelo will fight Andre. Canelo will not fight Andre for anything.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry.
You don't think so?
No one wants to fight. I mean, Jacobs won't fight Andre because they're friends. Canelo will not fight Andre. I'm pretty sure Oscar will keep him away from Andre. I don't think that's going to happen.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. For the same reasons he wanted to keep Lara away from. He wanted to keep Canelo away from Lara. He didn't want that fight. He's not going to want that fight.
Make the fight.
Yeah.
But you know what, P? Let me ask you your question. Let me ask you a question. With this upcoming Saturday night, how do you feel Garcia and Granados is going to go?
Swift said.
I think that. I think Swift is going to win. I think Granados is going to have his moments, but Granados is always that guy who always, he'll always come, he'll always bring a good fight, but he'll always just come up just short. Like, I just can't see. I think that whatever people want to say about Swift, I think he's still at a level where a guy like Granados, I don't see beating him. I see him giving him, a good fight,
Right.
bringing it, but I think his power and his counter punching will just be too much for Granados. I can see him dropping him, getting a knockdown or two. So I think Danny wins this. I don't want to say easy, but I think it's going to be a clear Danny victory.
Right. A typical Danny Garcia fight.
Yeah, I actually don't. I don't agree with that. I think that Danny has issues with dudes that bring the pressure, and that's like the whole thing that Granados has gotten his rep off of. Actually, he's gotten his rep off of knocking out Amir Imam, 5 years ago or 4 years ago, because he's lost most of his fights since then. But he has the style that will give Danny Swift Garcia so much trouble because he keeps moving and he keeps throwing punches. Yeah, I definitely think he can get knocked down, but at the same time, I think he can give Swift a ton of problems. I think it's going to be a very close fight and very entertaining.
Who you picking?
I'm going to go with the upset. Granados.
I'm with you. That's who I'm going with, Granados as well.
Granados 7-5. Super close fight.
I'm going with Danny Garcia to win the fight. I think Adrian Granados can win. I also think that it's a must win for Danny Garcia. I think that he has to win this fight or it's all over. I can't see him going anywhere else from here if he loses this. Because he's already took the L to Keith Thurman and to Sean Porter. And so, I think he's going to rebound in a good competitive fight where Adrian Granados is going to win a lot of rounds by outboxing him. But I think Danny Garcia is going to win because he's going to land the bigger punches. That's the one thing about Granados. We still haven't seen Swift knocked down in the fight. And so I doubt that Granados and Keith Thurman already fought Swift. So I doubt that Granados is going to be packing the power to really stop Swift from coming through his shots. But then again, at the same time, I used to think that about Mauricio Herrera. And he bloodied Swift's nose and outboxed him to a victory, in my opinion, but which he didn't get. But that was swept under the rug. So that's not out of the realm of possibility of Adrian. Damn, I can't even say it. Excuse me, it's Saradiza. That's not out of the realm of possibility for Granados to pull the same thing. I'm outboxing them to victory, but I'm going to go with Danny Garcia, not letting his career slip out of his hands and getting the victory, 8-4. A good competitive fight, but a clear win for Danny Garcia. No knockdown.
As everyone knows, I am not a fan of Danny Swift Garcia.
Really?
Yeah.
I know.
I thought you were a big fan.
Me too. Could have fooled me.
His boxing is crude and it's caveman like, and he's lucky that he's blessed with one of them special ed chins,
Damn.
to take shots. With that being said, I just think there's a huge training flaw in him right now that his father has not fixed or does not want to fix, and I think Granados is going to be the man to exploit that flaw.
Oh,
And we might see a repeat of the Porter fight, complete with a lot of low blows too, because we all know about the PR specials. So,
Specials.
I do believe though Granados will give Danny some work. At least I hope so too. I mean, against Granados, it's good that if somebody gives Danny Swift Garcia some work, so he can, so he can fade to black right now. It's too much. Danny Swift Garcia not doing too much. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Granados, probably one of the clear 8-4 over him.
so then how you feel about the other main event that some people might fork up 80 plus 70, 60, 70, $80 for?
$70.
$70. Pat, how you feel about Khan and Crawford? Does Khan stand a chance, or is it going to be straight demolition, or how you feel that that fight's going to go?
Man, I mean, let's put it this way. I think Khan will probably box smart. He's got to make a mental lapse like he always does. He'll get too overly aggressive, and then he'll get caught, and then that'll be all she wrote by the mid rounds. I mean, it's not. I mean, Crawford is Crawford. I mean, Crawford to me is the pound for pound #1 in the world.
Whoa.
And
Whoa.
Wait a minute.
Because Crawford, because I'm an old school cat. He fights mean. He's not a Roy taking Mexican or someone who jumps around who gets bodied by Mexicans. So it's so yeah, Crawford. Crawford is someone who I'm like, yeah, that's a perfect representative of the sport. So yes, pound for pound #1, and I think he's just. I mean, Amir Khan has seen better days. I mean, he got knocked down by a damn jobber in his last out, so it's gonna last for as long as Crawford wants to last it, and it's gonna be a spectacular knockout.
Yeah. So respect to Terrence Crawford, but the type of person who's a big Triple G fan is the type of person who would make Terrence Crawford the #1 pound for pound fighter.
Wait a minute.
Well, yeah, because Terrence Crawford can actually, has skills. Imagine.
Nah, because
imagine trying to slight someone as a Triple G fan because it says that Terrence Crawford has skills, even though it's clear as day that the man has skills out of this world.
Yeah, he has skills, but he hasn't fought anyone, Pat.
Type shit.
He has skills, but he hasn't fought anyone. But anyway, back to the question you were asking, Mal. I think the undercard is what saves this fight. And, when the main event comes on, it'll be one of those things, depending where you're watching, because if you're buying it and you're watching it at home versus if you're watching it on the bar or streaming or whatever, you would flip over to Granados versus Garcia for the main event because Terrence Crawford versus Amir Khan is not it's not a good fight. It's a bad fight. Amir Khan was losing close fights to Lamont Peterson 10 years ago. And so
well, I will say
what?
I would prefer to see Crawford Khan over Danny Garcia, Adrian Granados.
Yeah.
Adrian Granados, he can't beat Amir Khan. Of course, Danny Garcia can, but yeah, that's because of Terrence Crawford's skill and his dominance. Danny Garcia was supposed to be what Terrence Crawford is thought of at welterweight. We kind of found out he is who we thought he was all the time. He got that victory over Matisse, and then the hype wagon took him to new heights. But Danny Garcia is who he is. He's just an average welterweight.
I don't think anybody thought Danny would be where Terrence Crawford is at. I don't agree with that. I mean,
he knocked out Khan?
No,
People
even
thought Danny
then.
Garcia was a
No, even
star,
then.
a pay-per-view
I mean,
star.
but I don't. I'm saying like I don't think he's like. I never thought he was elite pound for pound like Crawford, like that, like
Man, I
that.
don't even hold that don't weight, man. That don't really hold weight. They really be giving these fighters. I see what Smoke was trying to correlate with the
I mean, Garcia
GGG
has
Terrence
a better
Crawford
resume than
because the
Crawford.
resumes of Terrence Crawford and GGGs are both extremely thin. And Terrence Crawford, if Terrence Crawford loses, for example, let's just say for sakes that Terrence Crawford he beats Amir Khan, he randomly gets to fight Danny Garcia in his next fight and loses.
Yep.
What does that
Yeah.
mean? What does that mean? Or let's say he fights Spence next, because I seen Bob Arum say that if Terrence Crawford beats Amir Khan, that at the beginning of the next week he promises to call Al Heyman to try to make the fight between Terrence Crawford and Earl
Sure he
Spence.
will.
I watched him say it, right? So let's say that fight happens and Terrence Crawford loses to Earl Spence, and then he fights Earl Spence in a rematch and loses again. Is he really number one pound for pound? Because
mean,
he wouldn't or
what,
is it that we gave him that just by what we thought he should be?
listen. I'm not. All right. Maybe I should have reworded that a little bit. I'm not talking like I just said number one pound for pound because like I mean like in a sense of like their talent, like elite level. I think Crawford has definitely is at a higher level like talent wise than Danny. Danny and I fucks with Danny. I always fuck with Danny. Even back then, everybody always has looked at Danny as an overachiever. One thing I like that everybody always says about Danny and his skill set, I heard this so many times, and it's true. He's a guy that's not great at anything, but good at everything. Yeah, people have said that about Danny all the time. Basically, to me, that means you're a B player, B plus player. Like you can't be an elite player and have that said about you. I'm just saying, like you can't have that said about you.
But
he's
so the thing is that Danny Garcia will fight almost anyone.
What about his 140 resume? That's where
Except
Terrence
Spence.
Crawford got his name from. And Danny Garcia, and you know, like you said, you were a fan of his. That's where he got his name from, with the W's over Lucas Matisse, with the W over. He beat a prime Amir Khan.
He didn't just beat him.
You know, he knocked him out.
yeah, I
He
know.
didn't do the Macarena.
Right, and he did that to him. He beat Judah. He beat Morales. He beat Matisse. He had to. He beat the Boogeyman. He pretty much had all the belts. We got to the point where we were saying Danny Garcia is beating up on a dead division. He has to move up. He's just staying there. He needs to move up and weight. That's what the 140 was. Terrence Crawford came, but behind him now, Terrence Crawford does have skill, but he hasn't beat anybody. I don't care what anybody says. Victor Posto is not a good fighter.
Who was the?
I can't even remember the African's name that he
Yeah,
beat.
I was gonna say, what's that?
I can't even remember the dude's name. And that's how he won the undisputed title. And it's like, for me, beating Ricky Burns and things like that, like that over the course of the run, is not really a strong enough resume run for me to be like, you're number one pound for pound. I really think the number one is the best. And to be the best, you do have to have a good resume. You can't have a resume that thin.
Yep.
And then you just crown people too early, like Chocolatito. Like people forget he was number one in the world. He gets knocked out, and then all of a sudden we forget about him. We no more Superflies, none of that stuff.
What's that?
When's the last time we heard Chocolatito's name?
Didn't he just fight somebody like earlier this year?
I don't know.
To the point, I get it. I understand we're talking about resume, but I like when I said, I was just talking off strictly talent, because there's a lot of great people. You can have a great resume, but still not be like great, like talent wise. Overachievers exist for a reason. Like
is an example of that.
So that's all I'm saying.
I didn't hear you. Who you say? Who did you say, Pat?
I said Carl Froch. is an example of that.
Oh yeah,
But Carl
good.
Froch was never considered number one. He
Yeah.
would consider, never in the history of boxing will we consider somebody the number one fighter in the world with a thin resume.
Yeah, it's just.
I can't think of anybody that we've ever
Outside
considered
of-
the best in the world that had a thin resume. If Terence Crawford would have the thinnest resume of all time out of anybody that was ranked number one pound for pound.
Far and away.
Like, that's not like we're saying you're the best of the best. Now, I understand the eye test. I definitely do. I definitely rely on the eye test. But you have to pass the eye test and the resume test to be the best. That's why I say Loma is number one. I don't even say Spence is number one. And I like Spence better than Loma. But Loma has the resume to go with the talent. You got to have the resume to go with the talent. Who's number two? We can argue Crawford as number two. But I can't argue you as number one if your resume isn't solid.
You can damn near say Canelo number 2 if we keeping it a buck.
I mean, you could say, depending on how you look at
You
it.
factor in everything.
Yeah. 2 W's over GG. Well, 1 W over GGG.
Laura,
The Lara win.
I mean, you could easily say that
Cole, Trout, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you're being real.
But you know why? You know what? The thing about Canelo being number one pound for pound to me, though, is that he's like a football team that's about to win the Super Bowl or something. When we're gonna say number one pound for pound, but they went like 10-6 or 9-7 during the season. Like, that's how Canelo fights be. Like, he could easily lose.
my
He
bad.
could have easily lost both fights to GGG. He could have lost to Lara. He did lose to Floyd. He could have lost to Trout. That's 5 L's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He has a lot of
both
close
fights.
calls. I like my fighters to show dominance.
I get it. I get it. I'm just saying, like, I was just only going off of straight talent. There's always levels.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
You definitely
Like,
got a
Right.
case for that.
like
now.
I look at it like in basketball, a guy like Joe Johnson, no matter how many times, what he accomplished, I would never consider him an elite player because he just doesn't have that talent to be elite. He's a B guy. He was a B guy. He would never be a Wade regardless of what they accomplished. I understand we're going with the resume and all of that, but there's levels. There's always levels, and some people underachieve, some people overachieve. That's just the nature of the game.
Yeah.
But man,
Like
Danny
it's a
was
lot of
considered that fighter, though. He was considered that A fighter, man. Nobody, come on, man. We're not about to sit here and be like people were saying Danny people was not being real because Pat would feel the way he do about Swift.
After Danny Garcia beat Matisse, man,
His
you
hype
couldn't
was through
tell
the
anyone
roof.
shit about Danny Garcia.
Right, they're talking about pay-per-view.
But
and
that's
all
the
that.
thing.
A star.
If Danny was always considered a great fighter, he wouldn't have been an underdog in a lot of his fights. A lot of the big fights, he was always the underdog. You know what I'm saying? You can't be considered, there can't be hype around you if you're always going in as the underdog. In all of his big fights, he's always been the underdog. So, I'm just saying, it don't work like that. You can't say somebody's great or somebody has a whole lot of hype about them, but yet every time they're going up against another big name guy, you're picking against him.
Well,
No, he started off that way.
hold up.
After he beat Matisse, nobody was going against him.
And then he had the close fights with Herrera and Lamont
Right
Peterson.
after he beat Matisse.
Yeah, like if he would have knocked Lamont Peterson out and like pieced up Herrera, everyone would have been on his coattail.
They were talking Floyd versus Danny Garcia.
They were? I wasn't around
Yeah.
it, so I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Danny, I mean, I even acknowledge that Danny beat Lucas closely, but he did. I was drunk.
Yes, Small. People were asking. They wanted to see that, but I don't think anybody ever thought that Danny would actually ever beat Floyd. It was more of he earned it. He kind of, some people, after the Matisse fight, most people felt like he earned it. With the big, because it was such a big win and it had such a big buzz, and he was on the undercard of a Floyd fight. So, you know what
he
I'm
was
saying?
the co-main event of the
Yeah,
Floyd
co-main
fight.
event.
And the fight was brutal as fuck.
It was
Over
a good
even
fight.
Adrian Broner.
Ugh.
Come on, man. Danny Garcia had that. I'm not gonna forget that hype he had, man. I'm not gonna forget that hype. He was getting heavy paychecks. Angel Garcia was in full blown mode. You know what I
Yo,
mean? Prime Angel mode, going crazy.
I was gonna say him and his dad were celebrities.
It was them L's, man. It was them
Yeah.
L's. It was everything that happened after. It was the lost. I mean, it was the fight against Herrera,
The fight
the
against
Rod
Herrera
Salka cherry
really.
pick, the
The fight
Lamont
against
Peterson fight.
Right.
Then the fact he fought Robert Guerrero. Then the fact he followed that. I'm sorry. Then he fought Paulie Malignaggi. Then he fought
Right.
Robert Guerrero. Then he
Yep.
fought Samuel Vargas. And then that L to Keith Thurman. Then he come back to fight only Brandon Rios. And then he take an L to Sean Porter. It's like the fans had no way to go but away from him. All the goodwill he built up when he beat Matisse, he killed it.
this shit is gone.
He killed it.
Finished.
That was all self-sabotage, in my opinion,
Yep.
Yep.
because he had the base.
I mean, Danny ain't even fighting on what's it called, like a Puerto Rican weekend or anything like that. He fighting on 420. Dude's liable to forget he's fighting, like for
That's
real.
a great weekend for all involved.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man. I remember seeing an interview after the Spence Garcia fight. They was asking Danny. They was like, "You see any, weaknesses in Spence?" He's like, "Yeah, I see a few." I was like, "Man, shut your ass up, man! Like, get the fuck out of here, man! Like, yeah, shut your ass up, man! What kind of weakness? What could you see that you think? Yeah, that's a weakness. I'm gonna take advantage of that if I ever got in the ring with him."
Man, I don't want to talk about it no more. But I do hope before it's all said and done, Mikey Garcia tell us what it is that he saw in Earl Spence, because he's never told us.
A payday.
Payday, straight up.
Straight up,
I would hope
dog.
to be like, so what I saw, I thought it was that he never told us.
I mean, I remember the things that I thought that Mikey saw.
Bro, you was
But-
gassed.
Huh?
Let's not don't undersell it, bro. You was you bit it. You
Yeah, I mean,
when after you bought the Corolla, bro, you got hyped, dog. You just
so it's funny because the Corolla came into my life like 2 weeks after that, Mal. But no, like strictly from a boxing standpoint, I could have seen, like, if he would have followed what I was talking about, I could have seen if he saw that, but no one ever knows.
Yeah, we just got to hear what he was talking, what he's saying. I want to know that. I want to know. How much more time we got? We got about 10 minutes left. About 7, 8. I want to know.
Go ahead.
I want to know, because it's been real quiet on this front from y'all fans. And I ain't heard y'all talking about him lately. I want to know, where does Adrian Broner go next?
Who?
Where does AB go next? We haven't
That's a
heard
good question.
nothing. It's
Man, he
been
need to run it back with
completely silent.
AB should be fighting Khan right now, not Terrence Crawford.
Like,
Yeah, that should have happened. That or Danny Garcia, that should have happened.
So when I was at the Mikey Garcia Errol Spence fight, Leon and I were sitting in the front row of like the normal people seats, so not like the press shit or on the actual floor. But so we saw all these boxers walking by, right? And so one of the like Fight Hype or Super Fight or whatever the other channels are called was interviewing Amir Khan, and like he was right there. So I asked him, I was like, when are you gonna fight Adrian Broner? And Leon has it on tape, or at least he used to. And Khan said straight up, Broner doesn't want to fight me because I beat his ass. And so it's weird to me that those two haven't fought so far.
I mean,
Fuck it,
I
just
don't
put him
know.
in there with Birdo. And I know that would make Pat happy as hell.
Hey.
Them two fight.
Broner
Or
versus
Lipinets, man. Get him in there with Lipinets or somebody. Like,
No,
I mean,
man, we need to see Broner in fights that matter.
He
At the
won
he
very
gotta
end of the
earn
day.
it.
and he lost it badly.
It's
You
not,
gotta
but
earn 'em.
so at the end of the day, it's not always about you being the A side. He can be the B side. Adrian Broner is a high level B side. So if there's a fighter that's on the rise, I would like to see him versus Adrian Broner. Like I don't want to see I want to see a Regis Progress versus Adrian Broner. I want to see, you know what I mean, like
Shit,
a up and
make the
coming
Figueroa
fighter.
fight. That was supposed to happen. Well, make the
Yeah,
Figueroa
I would
fight.
I like to see Keith Thurman versus AB.
Ugh.
Like, why do I have to wait and be like, well, this is a fight we got to build up to? No, it's not. It's not.
So you basically
They
saying
on
put
about
him
the same
in
level
gatekeeper
right now.
status in a sense?
I don't think. I mean, somebody tell me why Adrian Broner versus Keith Thurman is a fight that shouldn't be made right now.
Because
There's
Keith's
no
gonna
reason.
because Keith's gonna get the Pacquiao fight.
pretty
Oh,
much.
that too.
I mean, but
Keith
So-
would knock Broner out of the ring, bro.
I
And
don't
that's-
think he'll do all that.
Really?
and that's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. That's why we need fights like that, because that's the level where we know what AB is, and the level where we know Keith Thurman is right now, because we don't know how good Keith Thurman is yet.
True,
'cause he's
but
not
how
fully
can we
healed from his
sell a
elbow.
Broner and Thurman fight though? Like, how
If
can we
can't.
sell
coming off
that?
a
That's what
loss,
make a great fight.
Yo,
Broner haven't won since Granados.
Broner versus Josecito Lopez would be a good fight.
Man,
that would be a good gauge to see where.
that'd be a horrible
News,
fight.
I get
man.
what you're
Nah,
saying,
man.
because if you got somebody who we gonna tune in to watch like Broner, why not put him in with somebody that you're trying to build up? I get what you're saying. Use
Or,
Broner
yeah,
to
or
get
that-
popularity.
We're not trying to build up Josecito Lopez.
No, I get what news kind of
What if-
saying. You use Broner's popularity while you got it.
Yeah, this is
Put
what
him
I
in-
say. This is
put
what
him
this
in
is
there.
what I was. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying, right? So y'all know how I like to use my wrestling analogies.
Right.
So
Do the job.
Yeah,
you
I'm
know
here
what I
for
mean.
it.
You build up your wrestler, right? You get Triple H to the top. You get Triple H to the top. He finally gets to go up against Stone Cold at WrestleMania. He loses, right? He comes back. At Survivor Series. He fights The Rock for the championship. He loses, right? He just continues to lose. You don't throw Triple H and start having him fight jobbers and put him back on WWE on WWF superstars. Instead, you let Triple H. Now he becomes the B side instead of an. You know what I mean? Instead of him being the challenger, now he's that guy that these other guys that the John Cena in his first fight against a star, that type of fight. Like I'm trying to see that. I'm trying to see the fighters that need that.
Hey, let him fight the British Bulldog.
I
R.I.P.
get it. It's like, I mean, I see it as you can use a guy like Broner to get, I don't know, I don't want to say get a rub off of people, like
Pretty much.
yeah, but kind of like you're using him to get other, because for his popularity for other people, get a young up and comer. I don't know.
We know the outcome,
and not the bum
but Broner.
fighters.
We know the outcome, but Broner is savvy enough to where casuals would doubt the outcome, to the point where they want to watch it.
To even then, man, we can get. Why is it not a perfect time for Adrian Broner, Danny Garcia?
That's
you know what I mean.
Man, Pat would blow a gasket if that happened.
Well, that's where we at.
But in a sense, because it's funny because in a sense that's why I always wanted guys like Danny and all these other fighters to fight Floyd when he was around, because it was like Floyd could give these guys the rub, and you would hope like it's almost like what we talked about in wrestling, where because like I'll give you the perfect example. Stone Cold, when he was first coming up, when he first started becoming Stone Cold Steve Austin in 1996.
Jake Roberts.
After Jake Roberts, his first biggest feud was Bret Hart.
Was Bret.
And Bret, and they had great matches together. And who won the matches? Bret. But the point, and Brett was always going to win those matches. The point of getting getting those two together is to have Brett get the best out of Stone Cold, and even though he's losing, he's giving him a rub because you're hoping that the star power that Brett has as an established star, some of that star power rubs off on Stone Cold, and that you would make people want to see him even though he lost. So that's why I always wanted these guys to fight Floyd, just to get the star power, because everybody tunes into Floyd, so they can be like, oh, well, who's this guy? And now it can make them want to see those people.
Right. Think about it. Broner used it for Granados. Remember the rub that Broner gave Emmanuel Taylor? Even Emmanuel Taylor had a buzz for a little bit of time. Like, we don't need to see him giving fighters like that a buzz no more. We need to see fighters that on that mid tier 2 that can go on and can continue to make good fights, man, because we know Adrian Broner is not an A-level fighter anymore. I mean, like,
but he's still A-level popularity.
He's still A-level popularity, right? So that's why he should still continue to have A-level matchups, even if he's not the A side. Even if he's the B side in the matchup, he's still going to be the most popular or just as popular, which is going to still make the match big.
Right.
Make it Spence versus AB next.
No, that's too much, man. That's the whole thing.
Why?
Nope.
Nah, man.
The problem with Broner is it's that I get why it's not feasible and why people are saying to not put him in all these matches with all these people, because he's right now on the downside. He has, like you said, it's been so long since we've seen him actually win a fight. Look back at it and he's essentially a heel in boxing. Now, if we continue the wrestling analogy, when you're a heel, people boo you and people tune in to see you lose as a wrestler.
Right.
The problem is when you lose all the time, now it becomes, you lose your heat.
We want to see you go away. Yeah, you got go away.
Exactly. So it's like now you get to the point where it's like now people don't give a fuck about you because they will tune in to see you lose. But now all you do is keep losing. So it's like they got their fill, and once they had their fill, they're done.
Right.
Broner hasn't won a clear fight since since Theopain, right?
That's the biggest issue with being a heel in boxing.
Really?
And
Theopain was his last clear win, wasn't it?
Clear win?
Clear?
First Theopain?
Wasn't it?
I thought it clearly be Jesse Vargas, man. I don't know what everybody else was watching. Didn't he fight Khabib after Theopain?
Yes, the same night Postal quit versus Matisse. They fought the same night.
Because that came after Theopain.
Yeah.
No, so
that was before it.
Hold on, what you about to say, Pat?
No, I thought Broner lost to Granados too.
Yeah.
so
why don't we just put him in there with Figgy Smalls? That would be a hell of a fight.
That was scheduled last year, but Figgy was driving drunk, wasn't he, or some shit?
Yeah. But you're right. It was Theophane. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Man.
Yo, he was like, I'm not even gonna make that joke, but Broner versus Samuel Vargas or Chris Algieri.
Jerry. The crazy thing is AB would make the fight sell though. It would do more views, and that's what I'm saying.
They would actually be close fights.
You're right, News, because we'll be going live. I'll be like, hey, I'll go live if y'all want to.
Yeah, definitely. Like AB is a show upon himself, man. And at the end of the day, they cannot just let him go out here and just I understand it for the Pacquiao fight. That benefited both of them. Pacquiao got what he needed. AB got what he needed. You know what I'm saying? That was a mutual business decision.
Pacquiao got what he needed until I asked him about Spence.
Yeah. But it's just like it's like I don't know, because now the only thing that still works for Broner is I think he's still only the top really heel like that, and nobody's really taken his lane as that entertaining heel in boxing. But then once you get another heel personality, now AB becomes old news, and you want to now see another guy fight and be entertaining and get his ass kicked. So it's like, you know,
True, and Ronan, he be enhancing his persona because he be getting trouble. He be getting in trouble outside of the ring too.
It's funny. A lot of people are looking at. I feel like it's funny. We none of us have mentioned it, have looked at him like that. But the guy that actually has that potential of being a heel, even though I don't look at him as a heel, he can be kind of heelish. Well, Tank. Yeah, I forgot. Not Tank. That's true. I forgot about Tank. But like, really, I see Teofimo having a little bit of that heel personality in him with those antics that he's been doing. If you've noticed the past couple of fights with the back flipping and the gestures he made to his opponents and the talking, some people don't, even though Teofimo's my boy, a lot of people don't fucking fuck with him. A lot of people think he's corny and that his antics are, dickish. In fact, I forgot the guy's name, the guy who he's fighting this Saturday, said actually called him, and I kid you not, he quoted him as saying, he was quoted as saying, I don't like Teofimo. He talks too much. He's the white Adrian Broner.
Man, he fighting Walker, Texas Ranger Saturday, man. He about to stretch his ass.
Yo, Teofimo Lopez is gonna continue knocking dudes into concussive states. At least the next few fights, and until he starts fighting like the Lomas or like the Richard Kames or something like that.
He's coming out Lomachenko.
Yo.
Huh?
Oh, no.
Yep. All right, y'all. You know what? Let me jump in because we over time, and that's on my fault. But we had to get back into the groove. Pause. We've been shorting the fans recently. You know what I'm saying? It's hot out here. Well, hot out here down here in Jacksonville. It's like damn near 90 degrees. I don't know about where y'all at, but we was pushing 90. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I'm comfortable, man. Don't worry about how it is over here, man.
I got feeling 88, high 80s, 90 degrees. But we're gonna bring it to y'all, man. We're back in stride. Everybody's good. We're gonna wrap it up. Pause. And swinging around the room, everybody get their thoughts in. The news gonna go ahead and take us home.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Smoke from @Free Smoke Boxing. It is I guess a big boxing weekend this weekend. So tune in to boxing, and then tune in on Monday, and we'll bring it to you live.
Yeah. What's good, y'all? It's Pat Scorp, the New England representative, and yeah, man. It's just, I don't got too much to say other than keep loving Big Pat, Pat Scorpio, Bigger Pat, all of that, because I love y'all, but not in that funny way, just a platonic way. You dig? But yeah, you know where to find me: Twitter, Instagram, all that. I don't think I have to say anything more, man. So
that's New England.
Yeah, that's the New England in me. It's kind of cool over here. And
Pat, what did you eat tonight?
So yeah, that's all I gotta say.
What up, y'all? This is your boy P. You already know where to find me on Instagram and Twitter @Bodega Boxing. Hope y'all have a good night. I'm about to go finish this White Castle of mine.
Crystal.
Yeah, hope y'all about to be on the toilet. Ugh. Seeing that nonsense.
Yo, nah, fuck out of here. Don't sully the good name of White Castle.
Yeah, White Castle's good.
Crystal.
Definitely some White Castle. No, I'm trying some White Castle right now.
You obviously never been on them 3 a.m. drunk runs where there's nothing else open and you feeding a burger.
I have, and that's the reason why I don't fuck around with no White Castle, because I fucking shit. I shot like crazy after eating that. It gave me some mad diarrhea.
Sounds like a personal problem.
You only had
that being said, I'm about to go ahead and wrap it up, y'all.
Yeah, go ahead, because they about to go at it.
This is another episode of the Fade Hour episode 41. I'd like to thank all my fellows for stopping through and having a drink with me and having a smoke with me. And we'll be back as normal. Again, you can follow Ringside Rave. We on YouTube, on Spotify, on Twitter. So, if that being said, we out.
We out.
Lunch.